Coming up on OU Nightly, the latest on relief efforts for hurricane victims, how Oklahomans are helping out, plus reports of OU students getting paid to pack a city council meeting. Find out why. And demonstrations planned on OU's campus next week. What to expect. This is OU Nightly. OU Nightly, I'm Darian Curry.
And I'm Olivia Hayes. We begin tonight with a story highlighting the Oklahoman Standard, Oklahoma Task Force 1.
The Oklahoma-based organization was dispatched to help with relief efforts following Hurricane Helene. Oklahoma Task Force 1 arrived in Florida last week and is now on ground in North Carolina. They will continue their mission for another 2 weeks as they assist and assess the damage Helene has caused. Right now, the death toll is at least 213 people after the hurricane destroyed countless homes and businesses. Searches for missing people are growing more desperate as officials say hundreds are still unaccounted for. Helene has become the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Hurricane Katrina in 2005, with many saying they have lost everything.
I'm broken. My heart is broken. I lost my mother, my grandmother, my children. My father lost his wife of 38 years. We are not okay.
A massive relief effort is still ongoing across the Southeast to restore power grids and infrastructure.
And there's new information tonight about a report that says OU students were paid to attend a Norman City Council meeting and take up seats. Jake Flagger, an OU alum, told the OU Daily he paid students to pack the chamber during the meeting to approve a funding model for the Rock Creek Entertainment District. Students took up several seats at the meeting last month alongside OU officials and Norman residents. The Daily says Flagger confirmed he offered students a $50 minimum to attend, and text messages showed they were told to bring laptops and work on homework. Flagger also spoke at the meeting and represented himself as a student.
However, I'm standing here sacrificing a good night's rest before class tomorrow to highlight the strong presence of students who have consistently shown up in this room.
Flagger told the OU Daily he paid the students to encourage their participation in, quote, civic activities. He claims it was used to pay for their transportation and meal stipends.
And as tensions continue to escalate in the Middle East, students in Norman prepare to commemorate a year since the initial attack. OU Students for Palestinian Justice will host rallies like this one from last year during what they have named Week of Rage, starting next Monday. Demonstration is aimed at raising awareness of the organization's goals and will include walkouts, discussions, and vigils.
And hot temps have continued to stick around Norman over the last couple of weeks, but it looks like a slight cool down is headed our way.
OU Nightly meteorologist Joel Robinson has more on those temps and allergies right now. Joel, what you got?
Well, honestly, I don't have the best news for us as far as allergy goes. I would honestly call this the sniffle cast because allergies are not looking that great, at least right now. Weeds, trees, and mold are all at high on our allergy report, and there's no sign of it actually improving going into the next few days, unfortunately. Current temps across the area, 90s across southeast Oklahoma and even in the central parts of Oklahoma. But as we head into the later parts of this show, we will talk about air quality alerts and a cool down going into the early parts of next week. But for now, back to you ladies.
Thanks, Joel. Now, with just a little over a week until the Red River rivalry, football isn't the only team anticipating the meetup. OU Nightly's Kennedy Patterson tells us how the OU Food Pantry has a competitive spirit of their own.
The OU Food Pantry is sending out their last big push to beat Texas for their annual Red River Food Fight. Now, the tradition began last year against UT's Outpost, with the pantry taking the crown for the most donations. OU led the competition last week with UT close at their heels, but feels confident that the donations from this week have put them in a great place. And though this is a competition, employees say there is a bigger meaning behind being named champions.
A victory is always good, but if we can always meet last year's goal of 5,000 pounds, if we can get more, if we can get around that, that would be perfect, because that is so much food that can go right back to our clients. It will help us throughout the entire semester.
The competition ends tomorrow with final donations being accepted this evening. Live from the OU Food Pantry, Kennedy Patterson, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kennedy. The September jobs report is looking pretty promising.
Find out why and some other good news about that coming up.
And it comes to an early stop.
We'll tell you more on that and why it could start up again, up next.
The September jobs report shows a huge boost for the U.S. labor market. Emma McAndrews has the details on the report and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
The U.S. economy added a stunning 254,000 jobs last month, dropping unemployment rates to 4.1%. September's gain was far more than what economics had predicted, including an unemployment rate drop for the second straight month. The report suggests the pace of hiring is strong enough to support the growing economy and keep up with the pressure of high interest rates. Today, Iran's supreme leader says Iranian missile attacks on Israel was the least punishment and will attack Israel again if needed. This comes after Israeli strikes Beirut overnight, targeting a potential successor to the Hezbollah chief. This Monday, October 7th, will mark 1 year since the beginning of the Israeli-Hamas war. The port strike is over for now, as members of the International Longshore Men's Association headed back to the job early this morning. This comes after a deal was finalized with the Maritime Alliance that raises the union members' current base pay of $39 an hour to $43, a $4 per hour raise that will occur every year during the life of a 6-year tentative deal. And today, prosecutors in Los Angeles are reviewing a new evidence in the case of Eric and Lyle Menendez. This could possibly warrant a resentencing. The brothers are currently serving life sentences for killing their parents in their home more than 35 years ago. Darian, Olivia.
Thanks, Emma. Now Barbie is debuting a new look for a special holiday, and she's limited edition.
We'll tell you more about why she's special and who's designing her outfit.
And we've got cooler temperatures going into next week. Find out how cool we'll get coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm OU Nightly meteorologist Joel Robinson here with your latest forecast update. It's a gorgeous evening to be outside. Take a look at our Weather Center cam now. Beautiful clear skies out there and traffic flowing along nicely along Highway 9. Let's take a look at the sensor details now. 90 degrees outside for us, and we are very dry. Humidity only at 35%. So do make sure you drink some water if you're heading outside, because it is very dry. Allergy report not looking too great. Grass is at medium. Weeds, trees, and mold are all at high, and there's no sign of it actually getting any better over the next several days, so that's unfortunate news. But as far as our temperatures across the metro, 91 degrees in Oklahoma City, 90 for Norman, 92 for Purcell. We have some middle to upper 80s off to the north and west. If we zoom out a little bit more, we do see those lower 80s and upper 70s in our northern and western parts of the state. We do have a cold front moving in, or I should say a cool front moving into the state overnight tonight, and we can see that on the big picture now. We do have that cold front that moves through overnight tonight, and that will not really do too much to our temperatures, at least going into tomorrow. However, as we head into going into Monday, we do have another cold front that actually swooped by there on Monday, and we'll have some temperatures in the lower 80s instead of the upper 80s to low 90s. So we'll have a little bit of a cool down for us going into next week. But skycast tonight, temperatures tonight 63 degrees with clear skies, and for Saturday we'll start things off in the lower 60s. Then heading into the afternoon hours, we have another shot at the upper 80s, possibly even near 90 by 4 p.m. And we got clear skies all the way through. And then for our 7-day forecast, here's what we have for us there. We have some upper 80s for the next several days, or I should say next couple of days. And then that cold front comes through on Monday, and we got temperatures going down into the lower 80s. And then we'll be kind of gradually going back into the the middle to upper 80s as we head into later parts of this week and going into next week. So we kind of have a tease of fall in there, but we're going to be going back up, unfortunately.
Well, thank you, Joel. I know I am certainly going to appreciate that short little fall. Now, Mattel is releasing a new limited edition Barbie doll for Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights. She is dressed by Indian fashion designer Anita Dongri, and her midnight blue outfit is designed to reflect the lights of the festival.
Her outfit features dahlias, jasmine, and Indian lotus, symbols of strength and beauty. Dongre describes the outfit as more of a contemporary version of Indian fashion. She says she hopes to resonate with Barbie fans on a global scale. And Oklahoma has a bye this weekend, but that doesn't mean the OU football talk stops.
Our sports team has a live report ahead of next week's rivalry and all things OU athletics. Up next in Big Friday Sports.
Sports, I'm here with Hallie McPherson and I'm Cam Williams. While there is a bye week for the Sooners, the anticipation for next week's Red River rivalry is at an all-time high. OU Nightly sports reporter Darby McCormick is live from Heisman Park with more.
Yeah, guys, it's pretty quiet out here in Norman today, but come October 12th, it'll be booming in the Cotton Bowl with noises of the Red River rivalry. But for OU's true freshman starting quarterback Michael Hawkins Jr., both he and Brent Venables are solely focused on T130.
It means a lot, just knowing I'm going into a big stage. It's my first time playing in this stadium and against this team too, so this is a big moment for me and just try to take advantage of it and maximize the opportunity I have. It's a big game, but it's the same preparation as we do every game, so nothing like, I don't want to put too much out there.
Don't want the moments, the emotions of what that game means to everybody, the emotions that'll be in the stadium, the intensity to hijack the focus that it takes to have the details so we can execute at a really high level. Execution wins, not emotion. Between now and then, we've, as a staff, kind of just laid out there what he can expect. And again, every week, it's about
Hello,
it's
this
about
is
us.
Hallie McPherson.
This is the first time since 2006 that OU has had a bye week before the battle in the Cotton Bowl. Will they take advantage? We'll see in Dallas. Reporting live from Heisman Park, Darby McCormick, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Darby. Sticking with football and the injury bug is biting some of the players. Linebacker Deshaun McCullough tweeted the smiley face emoji Thursday. Putting 2 and 2 together, you could assume we will see McCullough back on the turf next weekend. After being out all season due to injury, and on the other side of the ball, wide receiver Nick Anderson could be out several more weeks or games due to a quad injury per 247 Sports. The Sooners don't play this week, but there's tons of games to watch around the SEC. Freshman phenom Ryan Williams and the #1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide travel to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. The up and down Auburn Tigers faced #5 ranked Georgia. Jackson Dart and the 12th ranked Ole Miss travel to Palmetto State to take on South Carolina. Luther Burden and the #9 Missouri make a trip to College Station to face 25 ranked Texas A&M. And UCF makes the 2-hour drive up I-75 to take on their state foe in the Florida Gators at the Swamp.
Back in July at SEC Media Days, OU Nightly reporter Abby Williams talked to some Texas Longhorns, getting their thoughts on the first Red River game in the SEC.
Conferences realign, but rivalries stay the same. Behind me is the Dallas skyline, home of the Cotton Bowl Stadium, where the historic Red River Shootout takes place every year. Oklahoma and Texas moved to the SEC, but some things never change. I caught up with the guys in Burnt Orange to ask them how they felt about the historic matchup taking place in a new conference.
With rivalries like that, anything can happen, whether we're ranked #1 in the country and OU's not ranked or vice versa. That's just one of those games where you got to come out and be on your game because, you're going to get the other team's best shot.
This is the most unique game for sure that I've ever been a part of. When you pull into the state fair and you start smelling those corn dogs and turkey legs and there's fans from both teams and then you get in those locker rooms and the locker rooms literally are 20 feet apart and you're staring at each team.
Definitely excited to go into this third one. We're all excited to get back right here in Dallas and square off again. So couldn't be more excited.
Every October, the Sooners and Longhorns meet right here in Dallas to determine who gets bragging rights and that coveted golden hat. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Dallas, I'm Abby Williams.
Another week and another Oklahoma high school football showdown in the 405. And heads up, folks, this one was not close. OU Nightly sports reporter Andrew West has more on the game from Thursday night.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to Airing It Out with Andrew. I know y'all were busy watching the Bucks and Falcons last night, but don't forget about the little guys, because we had some Thursday night lights as we head up to Spiegel Stadium as the Stillwater Pioneers come into Oklahoma City to take on the U.S. Grant Generals. And a little spoiler, it wasn't close as running back Shaden Green takes the handoff and punches it in for 6. But the crowd ain't impressed yet. Very next drive, quarterback Mason Schubert throws one deep. And look at that. There may be a competent quarterback in Stillwater after all. 2 drives later, Schubert again to Deacon Jones, and I think it's safe to say the Fat Lady is singing early as the Pioneers go up 21-0 midway through the first quarter. And listen, I don't know who called this play, but speed option on 3rd and long on the short side of the field is grounds for losing your coaching license as the Pioneers recover inside the 5, and they'll take advantage of it with another touchdown. And U.S. Grant's presidential campaign may have worked, but the Generals' game plan didn't. And if you thought it stopped there, you've learned nothing. As just a couple drives later, Schubert hits another deep one to receiver Jack Brown, and the Pioneers stomped the Generals 65-0 in a perfect example of why high school football needs the mercy rule. Hallie, Cam.
Thanks, Andrew. You mentioned the NFL, and that's where we head now.
Thursday night football was bright for former Sooner QB Baker Mayfield, but the Falcons flew away with the win in overtime. Mayfield completed 19 of 24 passes for 180 yards, passing for 3 touchdowns, and the final was a throwback to former OU teammate Sterling Shepard. With the win slipping away from Mayfield's fingers in overtime, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are no longer leading the NFC South after last night.
Up next, we'll have a game day forecast for next week's showdown with Texas.
And one NBA All-Star was sitting right here where we are. The exclusive conversation with the Sooner legend is right after this break.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. It is time for your game day forecast where we are focusing on next week for OU Texas. Here's what we can expect so far. Tailgate, we're expecting 84 degrees. By kickoff, we'll be at 87 degrees. And by after the game, we'll be at 82 degrees. We are ranging in the 80s. Going to be a beautiful day for the football game. So Boomer Sooner, that's all I got to say. It's going to be a great forecast. Back to you guys.
A former Sooner legend and current NBA All-Star was in Norman a couple weeks ago to host an episode of his podcast in our own Studio A. OU Nightly sports reporter Kaylee Jo Hummel has more on what made that special Sooner sad.
I'm joined here with Trey Young, former Sooner, now NBA star. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Well, you're here to film your podcast, so can you kind of tell me a little bit about why you decided to start a podcast?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I've been in the league for a couple years now, and there's been obviously some things that I've said about me that just aren't me, and just wanting to have a platform that if something I ever wanted to address or clear up, I could have it.
So something that you asked a lot of your guests was how do they feel about Oklahoma moving to the SEC?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to flip it on to you. How do you feel about it?
It makes traveling to go watch my Sooners play a lot easier, so I obviously love it, and I live in Norman too, so I know how big it's making our city.
Do you have a favorite memory from your time at OU?
My favorite memory? I don't have one. I just remember my freshman year and just every game at home, like it felt like it was packed. And we all know Oklahoma is a big football school. And so my freshman year to have basketball the way it was and all the fans there and just being from Norman, it was really cool to experience that. I think that's what makes Oklahoma, one of the top programs in the country is because we're not just a football school. We win gymnastics, we win softball. Basketball has been to the Final Four. Like we've done a lot. In a lot of different sports. So it's really cool to see and be a part of.
And you've been in Atlanta for a while now. How do you like it?
I love it. I feel like that's my second home now. Like I'm grown up here for a lot longer, but that's definitely my second home. Me being in Atlanta, I'm close to a lot of the SEC schools that we'll be playing, and but I love it. I love being in Atlanta.
Well, that's all that I have. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Got you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Kaylee Joe. The OU volleyball team sets up their annual Pink Out game. The Sooners are coming off a loss against Kentucky and host the 10th-ranked Arkansas Hogs in McCaslin Fieldhouse on Sunday at 2. Fans are encouraged to wear pink to block out cancer.
OU soccer hosts Conferenceville, Georgia tonight at 7 p.m. Their last outing on Sunday, the Sooners went to battle with another in-conference opponent, the Kentucky Wildcats at John Crane Field. The game ended in a 2-2 draw with no teams coming out victorious. Tonight, the Sooners face a Bulldog squad that has played to a draw in their last 2 contests.
On to even more running. The OU cross-country team traveled to South Bend, Indiana for the Joe P. Annie Invitational hosted by Notre Dame. Leah Gerudo, a freshman, had quite the debut, placing 3rd overall in the 5K. The women's team finished 10th and the men's team finished 14th.
OU rowing competes in the head of the Oklahoma tournament tomorrow to kick off their season opener. It will be the 20th anniversary of the event hosted in Oklahoma City and OU's 14th time competing in it. Entering her 3rd season with the squad, head coach Sarah Trowbridge looks to open the season with a big-time win. And Hallie, you know OU Texas is coming up next week. What are you looking forward to? Give me an MVP.
MVP for me, I'm going to go with Michael Hawkins Jr.
I like
what
it.
Do you
I
think?
like it. I think I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to go Grayson Holton.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Cam Williams.
And I'm Hallie McPherson. Have a great weekend.